Yeah, this is the thingy, the FMP thing. I called my thing Agnes, because that's what the performer wants to be called for this.
Okay.
It's the logo, I made it. It's shiny. Ooh, so cool and quirky.
It hovers before it fully opens.
Yeah, you know, you've got to build the tension. Yeah. So I came up with 3 ideas for 3 separate things. Two short films and a music video with an originally recorded song for it. My first idea was to do an analog horror short film, because analog horror is a genre in horror that is pretty underutilized, and it's a subgenre of found footage, where basically you found the footage. It's pretty self-explanatory what it is. Yeah. It's generally set in around like 1960s to 1990s, because it would be really boring with modern technology.
So, forgive me, so obviously I was around footage as a genre became most prominent. How is analog horror different to just a straight footage?
Generally, it features more locations and more separate recordings. While found footage is normally like one person with the camera, analog horror is more like a collection of footage surrounding an event.
Okay.
So like CCTV and stuff,
Okay.
which is how it differs.
Thank you.
And it would tell a short narrative about people being replaced with doppelgangers, which is a found footage classic, common trope. So it would be easy to draw real-world inspirations from, and it would follow like collections of footage from different sources surrounding the same event. Yeah. It would be reasonably ambitious, because I'd need to film a lot for it, but it wouldn't be undoable. Indoable?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. It wouldn't be impossible to do. It would just be a lot of filming, and it would be pretty cool. I chose... Wait, that's the next slide. I chose not to do it because of the amount of footage I would need to do it, and also the limitations that come with the genre of it being quite hard to like build a narrative when you're jumping around from different bits of footage. I also preferred my other ideas, so I went with one of those instead.
Okay, cool.
Had some inspirations from things that are found footage and also analog horror. There, yeah. My second idea was for a horror thriller short film, which is just like horror, but it's a little bit more exciting. And it would make use of the animation technique rotoscope, where you draw an animation frame by frame over a real like video, because that's cool and it's not used enough. And it's always interesting when it's blended between like the real footage and also the animated footage, instead of just being used as a reference. The story would follow someone whose reflection gets replaced by an ookum spookum, which would be the rotoscope animation, and it would just follow them trying to deal with that. That painting is related.
Card didn't start.
Do I need to start over?
There you go. Go for it.
The painting is related because it's a painting about vanity and mirrors. The comparison's there.
Yep.
I think the idea would be quite ambitious, because rotoscope animation takes forever because you have to do it frame by frame. So it would have to have as many frames as you shot, and you couldn't just reuse any. And that's why I haven't chosen to do it, because I think it would be way too time-consuming with the amount of time we have to do it.
As a technique, I really enjoyed rotoscoping. I think you'd have to have a sequence within a more conventional sort of narrative, where you employed the technique, but it wasn't the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could never work. Have you ever seen a film called Scanner Darkly?
I don't think so, no.
Heard of a film called
I have
Scanner
not.
Darkly? Sorry, it's the most rotoscoped film I've ever seen. The entire thing, the entire runtime.
How do I spell that? Because I'll watch it.
Scanner Darkly. I'll show you.
Okay.
It's a really weird film. Carry on.
yeah, I chose not to because it would take forever, and I could spend every moment of my free time doing that, but also I feel like the product would suffer if I did. There are some inspirations. There's not as many, because it turns out there's not that many points of reference. So this is the idea I chose to go with, a 3 to 5 minute music video, which would be filmed to an original song, which would be sung by the person who would also be performing in the music video. That's them on the screen there. You know, that's who they are. It would be cut together by me, filmed by me, and I'd also experiment with distribution, just because I think that could be interesting. So I'd try and put it on Spotify, because it's only like a tenner, I think, to upload. Yeah, no, actually, less than that. It's $10, so it's like £8. Okay. It's like nothing to upload a song on Spotify, and I think that would be interesting and would benefit. The song just follows themes of change and all that good stuff. It fits into the genre of indie folk, where there are lots of comparisons that can be drawn upon. So stuff like analysis would be doable, because there's a lot of real examples. The song is called Before. I didn't name it. The person who wrote the song did.
Did Agnes write this?
Yes, she did. The video would feature elements of real performance, along with maybe a little narrative. I haven't fully decided on that yet, because I'm going to build on my ideas a bit. But I think I want it to include performance and some more conceptual elements, as well as a bit of a narrative. There's also a song demo here. We don't have to listen to it now. It's 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes long.
Yeah, so I have to hear all of it, but I'll hear some of it, certainly.
There is no audio.
There is hit escape and then turn the audio on the screen. I like it.
Fair enough?
Yeah. I really like the track. That's really nice.
I think this idea is feasible. It allows me to challenge myself by learning a new piece of software, because I forgot to mention this, but I want to try Adobe Audition to cut the song together.
When we were talking to you about it, I thought I'd convince you to go for Premiere, but you're adamant you want to go for Audition.
Well, I want to do a test shoot in it first, just to see how viable it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to record it just the same regardless, right?
Yeah.
So give it a go. If you YouTube how to edit a song or how to produce a song in Audition, give it a go.
Yeah. And it allows me to like try out some new things. And I think it's pretty feasible to do, because, you know, a song, album cover, and a music video, that's pretty achievable. That's not too much, but it's also not too little. And it allows me to like stretch myself a bit, I think. There's the lyrics, if you wanted those. They're not the current lyrics. They have been changed a bit since then, but that's the most recent list of lyrics.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Here's some sources of inspiration.
Okay, so warm, almost like
Yeah.
autumnal colours. Okay.
Then we have the mood board, zoomed in a little bit, so you can see some more stuff there.
Cool.
A couple of shots I'd like to sort of try out and stuff.
All right, so you've got some studio-y stuff down there on the left. Okay, cool. So some like performance that I can help you manage. Okay. That's
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, have a folk styling. The target audience would be people who obviously enjoy indie folk already, and stuff in similar genres to that. Probably like 40 to 18, 18 to 25 sort of age range, and it would be aimed at not men, primarily. And generally, it's middle and lower classes that engage with folk music more than the higher ones because they tend to focus on themes of like working and farming. And I know folk music so well.
I don't know if that's entirely accurate, but that being said, you'll need to sense of audience for your treatment and on your works page. Like full cargle, I want a primary and a secondary.
I mean, I did research it before, so it's reasonably accurate.
Okay, that's okay. In which case, fine. Okay,
I didn't just make that up. That is.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know if they were focused on working and farming, but the information you gave, right? The data is correct. Fine. In which case, what I need is primary and secondary.
Yes.
Even if some of this you have to extrapolate yourself, like a full cargo breakdown for both of those audience groups.
Yes.
Because there will be a young group and there will be an old group. So, for instance, I'd say 14 to 25 can be a primary audience.
Okay.
And then you might be looking at 25 to 45, for instance.
Mm-hmm. But
I don't think your primary audience is broken down to quite that narrow a band.
Okay.
Go for it, keep going.
The codes and conventions would obviously be quite similar to other codes and conventions within the indie folk genre itself, as they all generally tend to take on similar themes and styles. It hybridizes acoustic guitar of traditional folk with more contemporary instrumentization. That is a mouthful and a half. Normally, to be an indie folk song, it contains deeper meanings and messages, which tend to contrast from regular folk, as they're normally about like change and moving forwards, whereas folk music quite often tends to be about we like it the way we do it, which is how it differs from that. It's all quite natural, costume-wise, scenery-wise, a lot of trees, a lot of outdoors, a lot of warm, soft lighting, ambient and that. I'm going to deconstruct 3 music videos that are stylistically similar to the ones that I want to create, which are Ceilings by Lizzie McAlpine, Great Heights by Bears and Trees, and October Passed Me By Girl in Red, which provide the most similar comparisons to the one I want to make. I'll be researching more into the genre itself and the codes and stuff to replicate them within my own video. They also have quite a lot of influence on the real world, which is media theory, I think. I know. So yeah, that would be useful to understand the genre better. I think it's pretty achievable. It's not that much, not too little. And I don't think there are any specific resources that I'd need particularly to look into the genre more, apart from Google and maybe listening to some more indie folk songs. For the first test shoot, I want to experiment with some different lenses. There's a list of the lenses there. Do I need to read them out? Okay, there's a list of the lenses there that I want to use. I think it's relevant because I want to make it look nice, and that would help. For my second test shoot, I want to try to learn to use Adobe Audition just to see how viable it would be as an actual use for when it comes to cutting the song together. It would let me try out the software before I commit to using one or the other, depending on how difficult it is or how complicated. And if it actually affects the overall product, because if it makes no difference, it doesn't matter that much. Then for my third test shoot, I would like to experiment a bit with studio lighting to see what would look best in the context of this, because they generally have more naturalistic elements to them. So obviously, like neon studio lighting wouldn't be good. So I want to see what I could do with that, what sort of lights I could use, if there are any portable ones I could use, and how well that would reflect the codes of the genre. Pick some locations. Mount Kelly. I have access to this. My mum works there, and I can just get in whenever. Okay. It's a nice old building. That's pretty on theme with the genre. Yep. Fogintor Quarry, because it provides a nice view. Outdoors, natural. Obviously, the issue with this would be the weather, because it's like a half an hour walk there, which wouldn't be amazing in the rain with a lot of equipment. But it's got some variety in the landscape because you've got the inside of the quarry, and then you've got this little sticky outy bit there, which provides a view of the entire mall. So any tree tunnel. I don't have a specific one in mind. Any really works, preferably one that isn't on a road, because I don't want to get hit by a car.
Reasonable.
Again, the difficulty would be finding one where I don't get hit by a car.
Yep.
The performer would obviously be the one person, and the crew would basically just be me. I have all the skills I think I would need for cinematography, and I have access to all the kit I would need. So I don't think either of that should provide an issue. Editing, we've got the software. Apart from Audition, I know how to edit. So again, that shouldn't be an issue. But I'm going to try and learn how to use Audition. Got the production schedule. If issues come up, I can obviously work around them. I have a couple of contingency plans, which I'm not going to list off now, because that would be boring. Not all the exact dates are in there yet, because I haven't planned like 8 weeks ahead, in case something does happen. But that's what I've got so far. The stuff in green is the stuff that's been done. A bit more has been done since then, but it's a screenshot and I can't change that yet.
That's okay.
Cool. I think it's ambitious. I think it's doable. It would allow me to experiment a bit with what I know how to do. I'd also make the album cover and learn how to distribute, which, again, not something I currently know how to do. So I'd be pushing myself a bit. And have the feedback from the previous projects with the music videos to take into account, to fix or strengthen this one's outcome. So it's less weak. That was a weird way to word that, but you get what I mean. And that's it.
Very nice, very nice. Well done, Tyson. Very nice presentation. The font you used for Agnes, it looks like it's sort of like an ancient, like historical romp of like there's going to be some dueling swords and stuff. It reminds me of like Hercules or Xena Warrior Princess, which are shows that finished before you were born. But if you look, you'll see what I mean. Anyway, the idea itself is solid. All the ideas were actually solid. I mean, as you point out, rotoscoping it's a technique that seems to lend itself to your tastes.
Mm-hmm.
You win the award for best transitions of any presentation I've seen. So I don't know how you did some of those. Are those all built into PowerPoint? They're very nice. They're very nice. So I've got some questions. I like the idea that you're looking at doing more than just a music video.
Yeah.
I like that you're going to record the song as well, and I like that you're going to try and shoot the album cover. It's worth saying if you don't achieve that, you can still do well off the back of just the music video. But I think it's good that you're going to do these things as well. I think it shows a good range of skills. Audition test shoot, good. Yeah, learning a new program, good. You mentioned the feedback for your last music video. The principal thing being you had nowhere near enough content.
Yeah.
Wildly short on content. You're going to need to please shoot this massively.
Yeah.
I know your predilection is to generally be quite efficient with what you shoot. Please don't do that
Okay.
for this. Like, I've got more specific questions relating to what you're actually going to shoot. But when you get Agnes in the studio, shoot it 6 times. Different lighting setups.
Yes.
When you go out on location, shoot it 4 times in every location. You want to have a disgusting number of versions of this to cut between.
Okay.
When I've watched YouTube videos of guys and YouTubers and they're basically making music videos, and they have like between 16 and 25 versions of this track to cut between.
Yeah.
You want to be pushing that kind of thing.
Okay.
What's going to be in your research report? Because you didn't mention that at all. You have to write an extended research report, which is what I mentioned at the start of the lesson. So that's generally like, let's say 1,500 words-ish. There's no actual word limit, I should stress.
Okay.
But generally when they come in, they're between 3 and 4 pages long, right?
Okay.
Now, that is generally research relating specifically to your product, and also like a theory, a media theory.
Oh yeah, I just didn't use the wording, but I'm going to look more into the genre as a whole.
Okay, Okay, so indie folk genre.
Indie folk genre.
Okay, I think that's good.
Is that too vague?
That's good. You can touch on the stuff. You can also talk about Andrew Goodwin a little bit. And then maybe we talk a little bit about using gratifications. So I'll find another audience theory to put in for you.
Okay.
Right? Because we need to try and put in something that's a bit weighty, a bit meaty. But you didn't mention the research report at all. Your locations look really cool. How reliable is Edith? Is she like fully into this?
Yeah.
She knows how many shoots are going to be
Yes.
involved at the time, how sick she's going to be.
Yeah, she's been in stuff before, so she knows.
So she knows. Okay. What I don't know, what I didn't get, is exactly how you're going to shoot it. Like, what's the style? You made the locations. The mood board was actually really helpful, but what's the style?
Sort of like autumn.
Okay. So
Is that a style, or is that an aesthetic?
Well, that is it's an aesthetic. Yeah, but so, are you gimbling?
Yes, I'm going to be using a gimbal. I think I did write that in there somewhere. I remember writing that down. I might have just not read it, but yes.
I assume being an indie folk song, it's not going to be like crazy fast cuts. It's all fairly slow.
Quite slow,
pretty.
gimbal, methodical movement.
Okay.
Quite still, quite wide.
I want shallowy, depthy, fieldy stuff, please. It's worth us. You've used the gimbals before, haven't you?
Yes.
So you're okay with those. I want you to schedule your studio shoot, please, across a whole morning. Like, give yourself 3 hours in there. Edith's gonna you're gonna both be so sick of this song. And I would like to be here when you shoot it.
Okay.
I would like to be able to help you. Like the twinkly lights, fairy lights, all that kind of stuff. Have you got access to fairy lights at home? Fairy lights are good.
I don't, but I can buy some. I think that's.
Decorations. You've got Christmas decorations.
No.
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 Oh, okay. Right. Well, has Edith got access to Christmas decorations in her house? She must do. I thought we were celebrating Christmas.
It's the same house.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. You didn't mention that at any point.
It's not relevant, is
Well,
it?
no, it is in terms of access to the person.
Oh,
in terms of
yeah.
reliability.
No, I'm related to them.
It's very relevant. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. In which case, you're going to ask people in here for fairy lights. I brought in loads.
I can buy some. That's not
when I
that
say loads,
expensive.
I mean loads.
Okay.
Like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fairy lights.
Okay.
Is what we're gonna throw. It's a very, very indie thing. We're gonna make it really soft and very, very pretty, and then we'll do some other funky stuff as well. When you record the song, where are you recording it?
Well, Matt Kelly has a soundproof music room, so I was just going to use that.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Shoot it.
Okay.
Make it pretty. Set up an offside light. So if you've got the camera on this side, and the camera's looking at one side of the face, put the light on the other side. Make it look pretty.
Yeah.
Again, fairy lights are an option, but if you're going to do that and have it record it, it's nice. You won't use it more than 3 or 4 times in the edit, but it'll look really pretty. I think that's it.
All right.
That's it. It's a really solid idea.
Cool.
Genuinely really solid idea, and I think it could look really good. Please, you tend to, in a good way, you'll go off and do it. Please ask me stuff like, I want to shoot in this location. I want to make it shallow depth of field. I want it to be pretty in this way. Please ask me how if you're not 100% sure. Like, I want to be able to help you because I think the marks you've had for your practical products so far aren't really reflective of what you can actually do.
Okay.
What do you want to get for this?
Aiming for a distinction?
Absolutely. That's 100% what you should be.
Would be fine with anything that's above a pass.
Okay, so merit, accepting, distinction, target. Yeah, that's it. Now, so what I want is for you to push yourself with the product and ask for help, even though that is not your natural way to do things.
Okay.
Okay? Because I want to be able to help you, and I really want to try and make sure you get that distinction, or to put you in the best possible position to be able to get it.
Yeah.
You're done. Well done. Cut.